You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Dexter After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Dexter After Show.
Oh yeah, everybody. Bing is for doing, and here we are doing another amazing AFTERBUZZ TV After Show podcast for your favorite show, Dexter. And we're on Season 8, Episode 3, What's Eating Dexter Morgan? And nothing was eating him, but somebody else was eating something pretty nasty. But I'll tell you what, I'm your host, Sean O, and I'm joined here by my awesome co-hosts.
Hi, I'm Stephen Lemieux.
And I'm Anna Koppel.
And we're going to be talking about the following topics tonight. The brain surgeon case. We'll discuss Dex helps Deb, with a question mark, yes. Quinn helps Deb. Everything revolved around Deb this episode. Elway possibly drugs Deb. And lastly, Dex gets his first ritual kill of the season.
And we don't get to see it.
And we don't get to see it. They just robbed us of that.
Cheated.
Yeah, maybe we'll understand why that's happening at some point during the season. Maybe we'll understand it's an artistic choice.
Yeah.
For some, I don't know.
Maybe they're making it the more G-rated Dexter this season because he's got his kid there, and maybe they want to, what's that word called when they broadcast it to, because they tried doing that with like CBS, right? They tried putting some Dexter episodes on CBS for a bit.
Did they?
Cross broadcasting?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Syndicated?
Syndication.
There we are.
Thank you, Phil, in the booth. So yeah, anyway, let's go ahead and start talking about the brain surgeon case. So pretty much the big thing that, well, the first thing that happens this episode is that Lyle Sussman's cabin has been restyled. That was not the way that Dexter Morgan left it last time, right?
Yeah, there's no guy hanging.
He wasn't hanging. So at first I'm thinking like, okay, this guy's body's gone. Like maybe it's been completely removed. But it was just, they made it look like a suicide now. And it kind of looked like a suicide before, except that he was hung on the meat hook. And I thought it was going to be like hanging, you know, like he hung himself.
Oh no, it was pretty graphic either way. I mean, the hanging on the meat hook and then the shotgun through the mouth.
Yeah.
Like, because they thought through, I mean, broken teeth, they put the gun in the hands, apparently, because there was the gunshot residue on his hands. And taking the piece of the brain by using the gunshot to the head completely ruins the brain. There's no way they're going to know what's missing.
Oh, yeah. And I made a note to myself that if someone does a good autopsy after this, maybe Vogel might do it. No, or maybe she won't, because they want to find the brain surgeon. Then they would obviously say that this would be a that was probably, I'm sure it was, a post-mortem gunshot, right?
Yeah, you'd think.
So then they would be able to tell, like, with all, well, maybe it just destroys the tissue so much. I'm a little rusty on my forensic science. But I would say that a good forensic examiner would be able to tell that it was post-mortem.
Well, you go ahead.
Okay, but doesn't the brain stay active longer than the body? Like, doesn't it stay active for another 10 minutes or something after the body dies?
Technically active, but I mean, I don't know how active it can be if it's little pieces. Like, that's the problem. Like, if you incinerate a brain, I'm not sure if it can be active.
Well, think about it like this. If he was hung and he was already dead, the blood in the arteries, you know, they're not pumping to the brain anymore because it has to go against gravity. Because it's not, everything would be pooling towards his feet. So when he's shot in the head, when someone like redid the crime scene, then there wouldn't be as much. There would not be as much active blood coming out of the wound. So someone should, like, the medical examiner should be able to tell that.
That's what I thought too, because if you shoot through the head, I mean, you'd still think like there'd be bleeding in the forehead that would fall into the cavity, but if all the blood's already congealed and there's no blood, I mean, I don't know.
There should be less blood.
It's obviously been like a day or two since Dexter found him hanging.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyways, a little interesting thing there, but Lieutenant Batista just goes ahead and says, "This is one for the records, guys. We finished this case in lickety-split timing."
I love it. Well, yeah, and that is a question that I have, because he says, you know, well, let's thank Vogel for her help with the case and goodbye. So why doesn't anybody ask, what is she still doing here when she comes to talk to Deb? And I think that will continue to be an issue. I mean, there has to be something else that comes up where she has to help with another case. Otherwise, it's going to be strange that she's hanging out at Miami Metro.
I just wait for someone to be like, so, what do you actually do? Because,
Right.
I mean, she didn't really even help with the case aside from that main meeting. And then Quinn, oh, did you already say that? Sorry.
No.
Oh, but Quinn's like, what's she doing here? And Dexter's like, oh, she's a family friend. And it's like, well, you look like you didn't even know who the hell she was at that meeting. So
Yeah.
I was thinking that too when she walked in, and I was noting it. I was like, dude, isn't it kind of suspicious that pretty much what you guys were just saying, that she keeps following Dexter everywhere, and they're working so closely together.
Do we want to talk about Vogel yet, or?
Oh yeah, we're talking about her. Like, she's not anywhere on the rest of the topics.
Okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah, the brain surgeon case encompasses Vogel.
With closing of the case, with the brain surgeon case, it's Dexter was the blood guy, so I think that's largely up to him to have put those suspicions in the air. Like, he could have been like, oh, I'll be a good blood guy and I'll check if there's blood on any of these hooks. I'll check blood around the area. But that's probably why they could close it so quickly, because they don't need an autopsy to know why that guy died.
Yeah, and Dexter doesn't want them. Vogel and Dexter both don't want them, the Miami-Dade Police Department, to pursue it, because they want the brain surgeon for themselves.
Well, maybe they could actually use Vogel if they were going to pursue it. So Vogel, I really don't like her character as, well, she's playing the character as written, and they're writing it this certain way.
Yeah.
She's trying to go between Deborah and Dexter. Every single scene you see her, they keep playing the same pattern. You have a scene with her that's mainly about something, and then the scene ends with Dexter talking about Deborah, and then she says something along the lines of, "But do you really like Deborah? I think that you don't really like Deborah." Oh, she knows. Like, it's just anti-Deborah.
I totally forgot that she kind of has a little bit of an accent, right?
Right.
Tiny bit.
It's hard
I exaggerate
to place. Yeah, there's something. The main thing that she said that really bothered me was, she said, you know, that the #1 rule of the code was don't get caught. And so when Deborah found out that you are who you are, why didn't you kill her? Not that I would ever advocate such a thing. It's like, well, but you kind of are right now. You're kind of suggesting, why don't you kill Deb?
And didn't Vogel say, so Dexter, if this man finds me, then he's going to find you. Okay, well, I don't want to get caught, so Vogel.
Yeah.
Oh, you would want Dexter to kill Vogel?
Well, she said, you can't kill me because I don't fit the code. But then she says, oh, well, the rule #1 is don't get caught. Well, you know about Dexter. You're trying to get him caught by messing with his life, bringing your bullcrap into his life. Why didn't he just kill you?
I feel like in that situation where she was discussing the whole Deb thing, like meeting that part of the code, I guess, I feel like she just wanted to see what his reaction was. In a way, she's still studying him. She's still that psychoanalyst, psychotherapist lady.
It's almost like Hannibal studying Will Graham.
Oh my goodness, you're totally right, Stephen. And in this episode, well, are we going to talk? You know, the ritual kill. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll get on.
Yeah, but it is under the same kind of thing. You know, it's the same theme that we got with Hannibal going on there. But I wanted to also talk about how Vogel gets that text, and we were kind of confused at first. We were like, wait, what was that, her phone? And then she goes, it says look outside, obviously. She goes to look outside, his and hers, total metaphor for the person, and because it's the occipital lobe that's been cut out, this person is watching them. And Dexter mentions, oh, he may not know who I am, but this person is watching us and he knows that we're working together, and it's like a message saying, I see you and I'm going to target you.
I honestly wanted to say something. I don't know. They know how to throw twists in there that we wouldn't expect, and I want, like, thinking outside the box with this, I don't think the his and hers was for her and Dexter. Like, I don't think they know about Dexter yet.
Who do you think it's for?
I don't think we're supposed to know yet. I think it's something we're going to find out later and be like, oh, but I really don't think that we're looking at this the right way. Like, I don't think they know about Dexter. I think that his and her could be representing the two, like, there could be two people working together against Vogel that we don't know about. Because, I mean, to use all the things that, how do I put this? For all the murders they've done and cleaning up the cabin and then still doing other things, like, it feels like there could be two people, and it feels like his and hers could be representing her and her other old patient seeing her as the occipital lobe. I just don't think we should throw our minds into the whole cage of thinking it means Dexter and Vogel.
Well, that's a really good point you raised, Stephen. Oh, well, we'll see what happens, right? It is a mystery. The whole season's a mystery.
I don't know.
But this leads us to Ron Galluzzo. It's so funny how she is implicating, you know, she's just going down the list. Vogel's just saying, okay, this was my former client. This is probably him. He probably fits this.
Well, she's just going through a book.
She is going through.
Yeah,
she's going through her book. Yeah, you're right.
It feels like she's just testing Dexter, making him meet all of these people that she wrote about. And she's wrote about him, so what's going to happen when it gets to him?
Well, it seems like all of her clients, besides Dexter, I mean, so far, are fascinated with the brain. This guy's eating the brain. The other one's taking out parts of the brain. It could be different people who are taking out the different parts of the brain.
Well, I don't think they're so fascinated on the brain. He was just basting the brain in garlic because it is a piece of the body.
Yeah,
well,
he was eating everything, not just the brain. But yeah, the brain was included.
To bring out special treatment, it was marinating in garlic. The other things were just thrown in the freezer, you know? Whatever. But I mean, the point is they're removing parts of the body, you know, that most people don't do that. I don't know anybody who does that. So
that is true, but it's like they're taking apart the body. Dexter does the same thing. Dexter takes apart the body.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, it might be all of her clients, or maybe psychopaths have that in common. Maybe one of us should like read a psychopath book by an author and see what it kind of looks like. See if they think the same way as Vogel. I don't have time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
No, especially not us. We're too hard watching television shows here at AfterBuzz TV.
Sean and I just made the exact same like stink face at each other. We're like, I don't think so. Read, blah.
But I want to talk about Ron Galluzzo. So he's included in this. We finally get to see this potential killer, what he looks like. They talk about him for the first 15 minutes of the episode. And I made an observation that the place they were shooting at, the mall, kind of looked like the Los Cerritos Town Center shopping center mall, which is in Cerritos, California.
Never been there.
Yeah, so I work in that area for my day job. So it's kind of funny. It looked a little bit like that. If people want to go give it a visit, you know, any Southern California people, go check it out over there.
You might see Michael C. Hall.
There.
you may have seen them shooting if you were there that day.
You may get picked up by a cannibal selling exercise equipment.
A gay cannibal. Because he
scene.
It was so ambiguous, right?
Yes.
Right away, he looks like he's hitting on two girls, right? But then as soon as he sees Dexter coming at him, he's like, oh.
Hey,
maybe
there.
guys have more meat.
Yes, and that's probably what it really was. And man, they just totally messed with this whole episode. Like the writers, they're just switching everything around. And even with Dexter, the way he was analyzing him, I was feeling like, oh, Dexter's totally getting this wrong. He's not covering up because he's a killer. He's covering up because he doesn't want to reveal that he had a therapist to his potential gay lover, right? The guy he's going to take out on a date. And he was just feeling him up. He was just like touching Dexter and being like kinesthetic with him, so he gets to cop a feel early before he gets to know him. That's what I feel. What did you guys? How did you guys feel about this? About the whole thing with Ron Galluzzo?
Ron Galluzzo, yeah.
Yeah. How'd you guys feel about him?
I did not get the gay vibe from him at all. I just thought, I don't know. I just felt like he was another one of those gym guys, and you know, I hate that. I hate all of those people like coming up to you in the mall. And first of all, I hate going to the mall anyway. So when the people at the kiosk come up to you and it's like an attack, you know, like no, please, don't make eye contact. I hate it. So I just felt like he was one of those overly obnoxious, friendly, like, hey, let me bring you over here to my elliptical. Just it's all I got from him.
So people might hate me for this, but this is what I think of the whole Ron Galluzzo thing. I think his storyline is more interesting than the Vogel storyline, and I really wanted to know who he was eating, and I wanted Dexter to actually investigate him and actually see a Ron Galluzzo storyline. The actor himself was actually pretty talented, like his facial expressions and the way he answered questions. It was interesting to watch, and that one scene alone, was able to be put us in like those weird situations and make us think these things. That's talent.
Well, now wait a minute, Stephen. You bring up a good point. If you're that interested, we didn't actually get to see him kill Ron Galluzzo.
He killed Ron Galluzzo.
Yeah, I'm sure he did too.
Yeah.
Dex wouldn't. I mean, aside from Hannah McKay, he doesn't put people on his table and not kill them.
That put a terrible image in my
Dexter
mind.
is confused about who he is right now.
Sean, why? Why?
I'm just saying it went off screen.
No, I forgot. Okay, this is what I wanted to say. Now, do you think that Dexter would clean up this guy's entire apartment? Like, take out all those body parts and everything? Because if this guy goes missing and someone goes to his place and finds all those body parts, wouldn't you think that would be a little bit suspicious? Like, oh, the Bay Harbor Butcher's back. Killers are getting killed.
He wouldn't have to clean up his apartment, just his kitchen.
Just his kitchen.
I mean, his kitchen's already pristine kill. It's a kill room.
Yeah.
It's practically made for Dexter. And when they walked in that kitchen, the first thing I saw was the meat grinder. I was like, who gets it? And I said it was a pasta grinder. I was like, because I wasn't thinking. I was like, who has a pasta grinder like that? Oh.
You know what? I was actually thinking within the last few months, because I did read it on Lifehacker, to get your own meat grinder and get like cubes of steak and grind it up yourself.
So much better.
It's healthier that way. It tastes better. It's fresher, and you just get more vitamins and nutrients out of that.
Total bitch to clean, though.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
That's why you see people with terrible disfigurements.
Anyway, so this was the first time. It was so funny because we see the crock pot marinating with, and we knew it was going to be body parts in there. You know, it was so like obvious. It was focusing on that thing.
We were thinking brain. We were thinking it was going to be brains, like pieces of occipital lobes and things like that.
I thought it was going to be a whole brain that was in there.
Yeah,
and
something like that.
Thank goodness we got to see the whole brain in the fridge to prove it more like, oh, there's no pieces missing. It's completely whole, so he's not the killer. However, this was the first time we get to see Dexter like really gag, like I think ever, right? He looked at it and he looked at the finger that was floating in the crock pot and he was like, oh, and you see the expression on Michael C. Hall's face. It's just like,
Well, I mean, we got it last episode. And Dexter saw he saw that when he was a child, he saw the blood everywhere and he thought it was art. And then seeing like a finger in soup is not art. Like the killing is an art, and that is not killing. That's cooking, and it's gross. That's.
Yeah, well, cannibalism is completely different from murder.
Not an art?
It's not a different. It's a totally different level. It's
Hannibal
a different
makes it an art.
experience. Yes, he does. They should be in touch, I guess.
I wanted to know who he killed. Like I wanted to know whose brain that was.
I wanted to know if they were girls or guys or whatever, a mix, you know. But I think, I don't know, just the way he was talking to the women, I would say it's probably easier to like prey upon the women over there at the mall and lure him back to his kill kitchen. No, I like the alliteration there.
I was thinking he would try that with Dexter, like, oh, well, I'm a personal trainer. I can show you my routine. And then we wouldn't know if he's like being gay or not. But that scene was so weird.
It was.
It was crazy. It made me hungry, though, the fridge scene.
It made you all that marinating brain in the garlic sauce.
Everyone knows you make ceviche with brain. You don't put it in a garlic sauce.
Oh, God. Okay.
All right.
Continuing on.
Let's continue on. And I want to, before we move on to our topic number 2, I actually wanted to mention, hey, you AfterBuzz fans at home, please go to the iTunes store, type in Serial Buddies into the search bar there, and guess what? So you're going to get the movie that's pretty much the epitome of Dumb and Dumber and Dexter meat grinded together into this awesome, like, cockamamie funny film, an independent film that's written and directed by Kevin Undergaro, and it stars Maria Menounos, Christopher McDonald, Christopher Lloyd, and who else is getting Kathy Lee Gifford, Artie Lang. Anybody else I'm missing?
I don't know. I'm just so focused on the fact that you can describe this film with cockamamie and it works so well. That's pretty amazing.
It does. And you should play a drinking game to this movie after you download it too. You should, every time you hear, someone said a kazoo last time. Was it you, Anna?
That was not me.
That was probably JJ.
It was somebody.
Every time you hear a kazoo in this film, you should take a swig of beer.
Every time, if you really want to get drunk, every time you see Phil Svitek in the movie, take 18 shots.
We don't want to spoil, though, how many times he's actually in the movie.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, download Serial Buddies because you know what? It helps us keep the lights on here at AfterBuzz TV, and we don't ask much, but you know what? You can help us out because you're AfterBuzz TV fans. Anyway, let's talk about topic 2. Dex helps Deb.
Helps?
Helps?
Deb?
Which he did.
I'm Ron Burgundy?
And I felt like he really helped her. Honestly, with that scene in the restaurant, it was a total attitude change for Deb. She got so, like, she went from being, like, at the low point of the depression trough to being like, oh, normalized. I'm up to sea level now, you know? And
Who did you think was going to be sitting over there when Dexter was first saying that?
Well, now that you bring it up, I was thinking maybe, like, a possible kill.
Me too.
Someone to make her, or even an arrest at least.
I thought he was going to have, like, I thought it was going to be Ron Galluzzo sitting over there. He's like, see that guy over there? Yeah, I'm going to kill, like, he's a psychopath or something. Like, I didn't know who it would be, but I didn't think it would be that guy. They pulled back, like, what, from 2 seasons ago?
Yeah. 2 seasons ago. That's when she did that shootout, and that made her, like, really in the public eye. And she made lieutenant because of that, pretty much, which is amazing. That they did that they pulled from that storyline. However, like, you know, the whole attitude change during the dinner, I was like, oh, this is a really novel approach by Dexter. Like, you guys agreed, right? It was...
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that happened after a conversation that Dexter had with Vogel, where Vogel said to Dexter, you know that you're the source of her problems. What makes you think you can be the solution? And so Dexter started to go a different route. Instead of saying, why are you mad at me? When is this going to be over? Stop being mad at me. I love you.
In case you didn't watch the episode, at this point, Deb has been brought in for a DUI, and
Quinn had saved
Quinn got her off at the behest of Amy.
Yeah, but we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves because we are going to talk about Quinn helping Deb.
Oh, I see. Okay, I didn't know if that was... Okay.
But with Dexter, though, it had the complete opposite effect the next day. She was watching it over and over again, drinking freaking bourbon or whiskey, whatever she's drinking, in the car in front of the Miami-Dade Police Department, her old department. Front row seats, and no cop saw her this time. She walked in all inebriated.
Yeah.
And she totally confessed to Quinn, which is freaking like, what? Are you serious?
I gotta bring in something from a later topic when we're talking about this, though, to make a point. We have the scene with Dex. We see them having dinner, and he's like, you're a good person, Deb. You're a good person. But between that scene and the one where she's drinking, we have the Elway with the wife.
Yes.
And there's a powerful line there where it says, let's see, people get used to living in denial. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what really kind of like struck Deb with Elway talking about that one at the same time. She's kind of living in denial to a point that she's living a lie. Like, nobody knows it but her. And I think that's what kind of sent her into that. Like, am I a good person, but I'm still living with this secret? Like, I want to be free. And Vogel kind of agrees. Like, she needs to be free. This is the best thing for her.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that's a good segue, Stephen. Let's just talk about all the Deb stuff because everything's pretty interconnected.
Yeah.
So Quinn, he helps her out like in the beginning of the episode. And he really he physically does something to help her as opposed to emotionally making her feel better like Dexter did later in the episode.
Don't tell Amy he physically did something to help her.
Yeah. So Jamie she ends up finding out, and she's like, wait, what case? What? You know, you were supposed to be on a case. You know, freaking Batista. Good job, Batista. Totally blowing it for Quinn. But how was he supposed to know?
There was no case last night.
Yeah, right. So Quinn she calls Quinn. First, the officer says, like, well, can I call somebody for you? Your brother, maybe? And she's like, no. So she calls Quinn. Quinn goes to rescue her, and he says, you know, let me see if I can get you out of this, which he does.
He does.
And what I thought was interesting is later Quinn says to Dexter, what are we going to do? And Dexter says, I'll figure something out. So, I mean, at this point, I just feel like, listen, Dexter, every time Deb calls Quinn reports back to you and says, this is what's happened. Like, put the pieces together. Yeah. Obviously, she trusts Quinn. You know, work with that. Go to Quinn, say, do this, this, and this, if you actually want to help her.
I do feel like, though, he feels like a lot of responsibility, though. Number one, because he's her brother, but also number two, because if anything comes out, like, he doesn't want her to spill the beans about anything. Like, they have too many secrets between them that if she ends up saying something that'll plant a seed in Quinn's mind, he could end up finding out everything about him being a killer.
Something like her coming into Miami Metro and saying, I killed LaGuerta, I was the one who shot her.
And that's what ended up happening.
And then when he says Dexter, she, like, flips her out. She's like, oh, God.
Yeah.
And, don't get me started on Dexter, but, yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up, because when he said we, I was like, he said we, but I didn't really think too much of it. But, yeah, you're right. Like, he's never... But doesn't Quinn... I keep thinking back to when Quinn had the private eye on Dexter, and Quinn kind of knows. Like, you'd think that he'd catch on a little bit more when Deborah's going through this. Like,
yeah.
Quinn kind of knows that Dexter is not who he really says he is.
And maybe that storyline will get brought up again. And
I hope so.
We might have a flashback. Like, in the beginning of the episode, we'll probably have, like, you know, previously on Dexter. And then it'll do that stuff.
Because I just feel like when I see a scene where you'd think that Quinn would catch on, kind of thing like that, I think back to the PI thing, and I'm like, wait, did that actually happen? Because I feel like they really would have brought that up if that actually happened. Maybe that was in the book. Oh, no, that was in the show. Like, it confuses me that he's so stupid.
Maybe, you know, sometimes people forget. And maybe Quinn is just, like, conveniently forgot about it. And maybe he's just put Dexter up more on a pedestal because he helped him so much that one time, right?
Well, I mean, by taking the blood off his shoe. Like,
yes.
Yeah, it was like a...
And he knew that only Dexter could have done it, and he even thanked him, right?
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, but still...
Yeah, but Dexter was the one who did it in the first place.
Right.
Anyway. Okay, so now what... I was kind of looking at my notes, but did you mention the whole about the drugging thing with Elway?
Okay, so we had a YouTuber... I forgot to look up the name. I'm sorry, but you know who you are.
You know who you are.
Good comment.
Yeah, good comment. You said, do you think there's a direct correlation between Deborah having her kind of blackout, blurry vision kind of thing with Elway's drink, the blatant market advertisement that we got last episode? We got a lot of that this episode too, but not as blatant. But then we get the same thing this episode with Deb, where he puts powder in this drink, shakes it up, here's that electrolyte thing. And then Deb gets super, super, super wasted again. And I'm not sure if it makes her more susceptible to alcohol or if it like is something that kind of drugs her up in the first place. I don't know what it is, but it was a good theory. I mean, I'm not counting it out at all. Elway's someone. We don't know how he ties into the story yet, though.
I'm trying to find the... Yeah, keep talking, please, because oh, here it is. I'm sorry, I found the user. It is Lou Nadia Nene. That drink Elway gave to Deb, what was really on it that probably weakened her somehow? Exclamation mark.
Probably. Yeah, but this week, though, we didn't see her actually drinking it. We just saw her bring it into her office and throw it on her desk because she was still talking to Dexter.
Yeah.
So who knows? I do like the theory, though, and I think it's completely valid. I liked Deb and Elway went together to go check out this guy who may or may not be cheating. He was cheating. And she laughed.
Yeah.
And we saw her laugh for the first time in months.
She really lightened up a lot.
Yeah, and it was good to see.
She got to call her boss a pussy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean...
She was that good old foul-mouthed Deb. We got her back for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a pretty good little scene there, and it also seemed like kind of romantic between her and Elway a little bit, right?
A little flirty.
Yeah, a little flirty. Like we could see something. Come on, it's like they're watching a porno. They're watching. They're getting all aroused. Elway's looking at those big cantaloupes over there in the other car. Those totally looked fake.
I'm surprised he has time to be a private eye when he's not fake tanning.
That's so weird that the boss, the whole Elway investigations is like is going out and doing stuff in the field, you know?
Just for Deb.
Just for Deb, maybe to help her out.
Oh yeah, he's got it out for Deb.
Listen, if your case is to go see whether or not somebody's having sex in a car, you'll probably be like, yeah, you know, I'll help out on this one. Like,
of course the guy is gonna go.
Let me help out, you know, just in case you'll need backup.
The client though, I must say, Stephen, do you agree with me? She was kind of a MILF. A little bit.
No comment.
No comment.
Sean liked her dress.
I liked the dress. It was I could see that. I could see my wife wearing a dress like that.
The second time you saw her, the dress was better. I liked the dress the better second time.
All right, gentlemen, I feel like we're like teetering on the edge of appropriateness, so I just want to like say
That's
before
why
we
I said
offend.
no comment.
I'm
said
proud
no
of you,
comment.
Stephen. I'm very
Yeah.
proud of you.
I'm a changed man. I've been rehabilitized.
So we think that Elway, we were kind of suspecting him ever since the beginning of the season. You know, this new character, a big time actor. He's got to have some shadiness to him, some dark, deep passenger within him.
Can I pull a Stephen and like throw out a prediction mid-show?
I don't know can Stephen Lemieux pull a Stephen? Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm gonna pull a Stephen here. Okay, so first it was Sean Patrick Flannery is gonna be the main guy against Dexter investigating him. Then it was he might be evil, and now it's I don't know. We still haven't figured out El Sapo. They didn't really go into that much this episode, but seeing the previews from next episode and seeing certain things with Vogel and like Deborah being a bit unhinged, we might see Elway kind of trying to figure out why Deborah is the way she is, and that might lead him to Dexter.
Oh, that's good.
So his interest in Deb might be what leads him to start investigating Dexter, and that's what I think might kind of happen throughout the season.
That's a good one. I like that.
I don't know.
There was somebody on our iTunes channel actually that said something interesting. I don't know if I read this last time, but Sam Misner said, you guys are great. Love all your theories thrown around and everything. I think my theories were like so erratic last time, but thank you. He also said maybe Deb's blood fell off El Sapo, fell off. Maybe he meant off on El Sapo when he opened the door to his car after their fight.
I would say that too, but the blood was in the glass that's broken. That's why.
Yeah. So it's kind of like I don't know.
I really like the latest comment we got on iTunes. Read that one out.
What, the very latest one?
Very latest.
So from Juicy Peach 03?
Just read it out.
Juicy Peach 03 says, I'm so tired of Deborah blaming her actions on Dexter because he didn't make her do anything. She's upset because she's realizing how far she will go to cover herself and Dexter. She was compromised the day she let the two vigilantes go, Dexter and his girlfriend. That's true.
There you go.
That's cool that she's reaching back to 2 seasons ago. Very intriguing.
Just like the video that's reaching back to 2 seasons ago.
True that. Well, Juicy Peach, thank you so much for your comment. And let's talk about, I think we're kind of dry on the Deb stuff, right? Anything else with her? Her being the nexus of this episode?
Well, also just, Dexter gave Deb the shot, man. He gave her the...
Dude.
He did. He totally M99'd her.
It took 8 seasons, but we finally saw him M99 Deb.
That was pretty cool. I did not expect it. I was pretty shocked that happened. Yeah. But a good little Deus Ex Machina to get her out of there, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's so many times throughout this series where we're like, we love Deb, but at the same time, there's so many times like, I wish she would just shut up and he would just M99.
Yeah.
And it's like, it happened.
You know, I really, during the whole Deb breakdown in the Miami Police Department, I seriously felt nervous, you know?
Yeah.
I felt like I was Deb in that situation. Like, I felt like, oh man, like I have like this intense secret and I'm about to spill it. And I really felt like tremors within like my heart and soul. I shit you not, pardon my French, but I really felt like that. And I almost, it was a teary scene. I felt like a little bit of liquid welling up in my eye.
I felt Quinn should freaking fail the sergeant's test. Like, come on, Quinn.
Yeah.
He was like, what are you talking about, Deb? No.
Seriously, he's like the worst investigator.
God.
Yeah.
He is, I can't believe I'm saying this. He is a worse detective than LaGuardia.
Yes, you're right.
She's dead.
You know what? He's a narco. He's a crooked cop who's there. He did vice and narcotics. That's the stuff he deals with. He deals with being crooked. He can't see when other people are lying as much because he does it so often, probably. Like, he cares about himself, and he probably wants to get back with Deb. Like, when it feels like that this episode. It feels like he wants to get back with her, even though he's with Jamie, and it feels like Deb kind of wants to get back with him, too, with that whole Elway conversation.
They're going to get too close. He's going to find out about Dexter, and Dexter's going to have to kill Quinn. Because Quinn has to die. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I'm pulling a Stephen again. Pulling a Stephen.
Perhaps.
I also think in that scene we learned sort of more about Vogel and the lengths she's willing to go to, because if she's like a good person or like not a criminal, you're not going to watch somebody like M99, somebody hold on to her written confession and like help hide her, like carry her out of the police station. So I mean, it really speaks to her level of corruption or evilness or something. Stephen doesn't like her. Go on.
I'm gonna play on what you said too, though. So the past few seasons, we've had Dexter kind of coming into his own realization that he is human. He's coming into that he does kind of care for some people. He does have these things that he likes. Sex ain't too bad. Like, he has these like, human connections. And Vogel is completely tearing them apart. She's bringing them to a base level. And you can do this with anyone. It doesn't have to be a psychopath to make you, to tell someone that what they're doing is selfish, because there's always something that leads back to something for you. No matter any action you take, it's something for you. And she's tearing apart Dexter. And I don't like how, I mean, it's, of course, again, it's written this way. I don't like how her views as a character is that humans and psychopaths are different species. And this is the way we see it in the scenes from next episode, and this is the way it is now. She holds psychopaths to a different standard. And Dexter, even though it feels like she's trying to convince Dexter of the fact that he's not human, because otherwise it would make everything that she understands about psychopaths false.
And this is a paradigm that she's pretty much come up with in all of her books, and it's like her longitudinal study. She can't go back on it.
Yeah, it's if she's wrong, she can't be wrong, so she has to prove Dexter wrong.
It's kind of like Harry, or even Dexter, calling himself a monster over and over again, and then when he kind of realizes that, wait a minute, he's not quite a monster, wait a minute, he does feel a little bit, he's not so cold, he kind of like smashes through that model that he's created for himself, that like cage he's put himself in. She's kind of reinforcing that, like you said, Stephen. She's like putting him in that box.
She wants Dexter all to herself. I mean, she's, every time he's off to something else, she's like, oh no, you let me, what is it? And even if he says none of your business, oh well, let's talk about why you're selfish about it. And she's reiterating the fact you are a monster, but being a monster is good. It's good to be a monster. You're perfect. And she's manipulating him. And especially at the end. I thought it was the last line of the episode until we saw them totally cheating us with freaking Galluzzo's death. But she's right. I am perfect, but only perfect at one thing. It's just tearing it down. It's just putting that cage around Dexter, like you said.
Yeah.
True that. Dex finally does his ritual kill for the first time this season. And it seemed like it was going to be a good one until they robbed us, like you said, Stephen.
He didn't put pictures up. He didn't know who the victims were. For all he knows, he couldn't. He might not have fit the code.
They really rushed it, actually. Of course, you know what? Of course, he met the code because he's. Come on, dude. Well, you know what? He is killing people. But I actually thought this for half a second while we were watching.
That she could have taught him the code too.
No, that he could be digging up bodies or going to a morgue or something and stealing body parts and not necessarily killing people.
That is so much grosser.
Well, you can't eat anything embalmed.
Well, maybe he got to him before they got the embalming fluid in him.
Maybe. I mean, it seems. Yeah. I mean, any of those things. But even then, it's like I was thinking that she obviously knew him. She could have instilled something like Harry's code in him as well. Yeah. Except for the fact that he was sizing up Dexter.
Yeah. Testing his arm body fat percentage there.
He must work out a lot. Oh, you're. I thought that was so funny. You're obviously not a beginner. You need to try out this machine.
And it's the most rudimentary machine you could ever use in the gym.
Yeah.
Oh man. So
children can use this. It's so advanced.
So the only thing that was, I think, relevant during the kill, other than them robbing us of not seeing it happen, was that Dexter was, like he usually does, he draws conclusions and he makes like epiphanies while he's in his kill mode. And he says, oh, you know what? Even though I despise you and I hate everything that you are, Galluzzo, I'm like you because, not just in the killer sense, but I'm consuming everybody I love and I'm killing everybody around me. But you're eating them physically and I'm consuming them in the way that I'm just destroying their lives.
I gotta say though, it's not the kill itself, like the stabbing, that we're cheated of. It's that we have this character, and this is where this show came from. The concept was so great. You have a wolf in sheep's clothing. And the greatest moments in the show are when people who think he's this person realize he's not that person. and we didn't get that moment.
We don't get to see the reactions on his face or their faces.
We don't see the reactions. Dexter didn't let him talk at all. I mean, we didn't get anything. It was really just, hey, we didn't have him do a ritual kill this season. Hey, let's throw this in.
If there was anything that they did rob us of, it's all that stuff that we've been talking about. Seriously, the guy, it usually they're talking, and then he like says, oh, okay, enough of your lies, and he like stuffs their mouth or like duct tapes them or whatever. But this time it was just one way.
But I think that's the progression of his, I was going to say disease. That's not right, though.
No, that's fine.
Sure, his serial killing disease.
For lack of a better word.
That's the progression of Dexter, because he is getting more emotional, and maybe he doesn't have that need to punish him for what he's done wrong. He just has the need to kill, and like he killed not El Sapo, but Briggs. Was that his name?
Yes, Briggs.
He just like killed him on impulse, and he's killing people. He's killing innocent people, and he's just been killing. He killed Hannah's father last season, and he might not have that need to hang a picture anymore.
But my problem with it is Dexter's dark passenger is the need to kill, and you'd think with this woman Evelyn enforcing that, like, you are perfect, you are this person, you'd think that the call, tonight's the night, the call would be really strong, like it'd be stronger, and he would need to kill this person.
However, don't you remember, if I could interrupt you for a moment, don't you remember like the previous season, Dexter really opened up and he was like, hey, maybe it's not the dark passenger. He said, he had that realization, like, it's me. I am the dark passenger.
Yeah.
No, I know that, but what I'm saying is it's always been a need. This kill and the last kill, none of the kills this season were a need. Like, we're not seeing Dexter like having his jittery moments, needing his fix. He's just killing. And it's not a I need my fix. Finally, that moment. I get to savor that moment. I get to kill this man and savor the moment that his life leaves his body. It's just, this guy's in my way. Oh, okay, I'm gonna kill him.
So if I can maybe just to understand, you're saying what you're saying is that part of his need is the ritual, that the ritual is part of what satisfies his need.
Well, it's that, but it's not. It's the fact that he killed him, and we had this guy that we didn't really know until halfway through the episode anyway. It's not like Dexter's actually stalking prey to look out for prey. It's more like he just killed this guy because it was convenient to kill this guy.
Well, let's not forget that these people are being provided now. It's like an easy selection list. It's like a buffet. Vogel has this list that's just like, oh, hey, this is the guy who's probably a killer.
I know, but I just don't see Dexter like needing to kill. Like, we need to see him like talk about like the night is calling. Like, go back to the basics just a little bit so we get to see that the old character's still there. This feels like an entirely new show in a way.
But I think that's the point. This is supposed to be. I feel like this is going to be his downfall season. Come on, all the billboards. He's got his own face plastic wrapped, right?
Well, and that cake he did.
That cake too.
We need that cake, Phil.
Phil, get us that cake.
Well,
make Kathy make it.
Let's go ahead and move into our news and gossip.
Let's do it.
AfterBuzz TV News.
I wanted to talk about another comment that one of our fans had on our iTunes account. They said normal, but they gave us 5 stars, and it's from Sasaki Yori. And she said, I think you are all, or he or she, I don't know, I'm sorry. Sasaki, please tell us if you are male or female, I don't know. But I think you are all acting normal. That's what he/she said, in regards, I'm sure, to that bath salt comment that we got a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
Thank you, Sasaki.
Thank you for backing us up on that. Yeah.
I was like, and the bath salts comment didn't really make sense.
No, it didn't at all.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
We didn't eat each other's faces. So there is a particular twit pic which is going viral this weekend, probably because of for sure because of the Zimmerman case in Florida, and everybody is tweeting out there. Like some of the variety of tweets that I've seen have been, I wish that Dexter was real so he could get this guy. And the twit pic shows. It's you just type in Dexter on Twitter right now, and you will for sure find like Dexter and Zimmerman in the same tweet. But anyway, it says there's a picture of the Miami Star. Dexter's reading it, and there's a Zimmerman not guilty. pretty interesting.
That is.
Interesting tweets. Go check those out. And I have one more thing about Dexter to talk about, which is, let's see, today, this is from @DarklyDexterCom. Today, #Dexter's author Jeff Lindsay turns 61. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
It's my brother's birthday, too.
Oh,
Nice.
awesome.
Happy birthday.
And that's a throwback to Darkly Dreaming Dexter, which is the second book, I believe.
Anybody else have news? No.
I do really quickly. There's just talks of a possible Dexter spinoff, and no real date on that. Just a conversation that Dexter really put Showtime on the map for original series, and so talks of a spinoff.
I hope that it's like a comedy sitcom with Batista and Quinn having shenanigans at Papa's.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome. They should
Quinn, you can't be missing these shifts like this. We got 10 servers down.
They should maybe talk to Kevin and Maria about Serial Buddies and come up with something. I don't know what I'm saying.
I got some favorite lines from the episode if you want me to throw those out there.
Let me go ahead and read one more tweet that I found from Eric Fletcher @EFletcherSOC, who's actually one of the cameramen on Dexter. Cool. And he tweeted just yesterday, during the kill room scenes on #Dexter, Michael C. Hall and I never rehearsed our movements. We just danced. Thank God I had great focus, guys. That's interesting.
That's
it's
really
tough to be moving focus, yeah. Favorite lines? I loved when at the very end of the episode, we're the same. I consume everyone I love.
Yeah.
And talking to the cannibal, it's a pretty powerful line. And then the other one was, a mall is a perfect watering hole for a predator.
Oh.
I thought that was pretty good.
Sweet. Let's move into our predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I got something. A Dexter prediction is coming out of my mind. I will say that each one of those clients that Vogel has on your list is going to end up being a killer, and they are pretty much going to supplement Dexter's kills, the ritual kills, this whole season. I don't think he's going to find anybody else that he needs to kill, well, maybe until the very end, but I think the majority of his ritual kills are just going to be off that list, and it's going to make it easy for Dexter to find the kills, obviously, because we have so many other things going on. There's like no time for Dexter to hunt down and like stalk his prey like he has been in the previous seasons. Anna?
All right, well, mine's kind of a 2-in-1. I think that Vogel is actually very well versed and well trained in coercion therapy. So convincing people of things or just suggesting things. And so people who don't really know who they are, where they are, they're like very easily manipulated. And so I think, that's like part one. Part two, I think she's going to convince Deb that she's also a psychopath. She's going to show Deb these tapes and say, you killed LaGuerta, and convince Deb that she's also a killer.
Wow.
I'm total opposite.
There you go.
I'm total opposite. I think that
You just blew my mind with that.
I think that my prediction from the 4 with Elway is gonna try to dig into Deb and see what's so messed up with her, and he's gonna end up looking into Dexter. That's how we're gonna see Elway and Dexter coming together. I think Vogel is going to move Deb out of her house and take her to somewhere to interrogate her, kind of thing.
To Lyle Sussman's cabin?
No, I think it'll probably be like, it looked like a shipping container.
Oh.
Yeah, it looked like a shipping container. And what I was going into with Vogel before, in that she holds a different standard for humans and psychopaths, what it sounded like in the previews is that Vogel is being so hard on Deborah because she's a human and she killed another human.
As opposed to a psychopath.
As opposed to a psychopath. Dexter doesn't, like, because we hear Dexter doesn't have empathy. He doesn't know better, but you knew better and you still pulled the trigger.
Yikes.
That's on you. Like, you're the murderer. You belong in, like, I think Vogel is going to try to keep Deb away from Dexter, and I think Dexter is going to lash back at Vogel, and we're going to see what happens.
That's really fascinating. I wanted to piggyback off of that, too. I wanted to say that would be an excellent way to get rid of Deb and make Vogel like a total villain this season. Anyway.
And if Vogel has split personality disorders, which we've predicted at episode 1, perhaps,
yes,
that might still come back out to play.
It very well may be. Well, anyway, that's about all the time we have tonight for our AfterBuzz TV Dexter podcast. But be sure to tune in next week, guys, because we're going to be discussing episode 4, and we're going to have plenty of news and gossip for you. If you guys want to give us a follow, hey, you know what? Give me a follow. I'm on Twitter at SeanAustinO, and you can find me on Instagram as well. Same handle.
Okay, I'm Anna Koppel. You can follow me at Koppel for Mayor, KOPPELFORMAYOR. Sean and I will also be back at 9 o'clock to buzz about Ray Donovan.
Awesome. You can find me at Stephen Lemieux on Twitter, STEPHENLEMIEUX. Also doing the Get Out Alive with Bear Grylls after show, as well as Twisted and Graceland on Thursdays. Also, be sure to go to iTunes and give us 5 stars. We got 51 reviews now.
Yes, we do.
Oh yeah, let's get it to that 100 this season. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much, guys. We'll buzz with you next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.